There are more ways to market your business today than at any point in history. You have Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, email, TikTok, SEO, direct mail, community events, and now even how your business shows up when someone asks an AI platform for a recommendation. Every one of these can work, but the problem is most businesses don't have unlimited money, unlimited time, or unlimited people. So what happens when you try to do all of it? Usually you end up doing a little bit of everything and not enough of anything. There's a marketing framework getting some attention called the 3-3-3 rule. 3 audiences, 3 messages, 3 channels. The number 3 isn't magic. The important part is something businesses have a surprisingly hard time doing: choosing. Today, we're talking about how the 3-3-3 rule can help you decide where your marketing deserves your attention and where it doesn't.
The dealer download powered by RS&I.
Marketing has a way of getting complicated. A new platform gets popular and someone tells you you gotta put your business there. It needs to be there. Then it's a new advertising product, a new social network, a new type of video, a new AI tool. And pretty soon your marketing plan is just a collection of things somebody told you to do. That's especially tough for smaller businesses. Maybe you've got one person handling marketing. Maybe it's part of somebody else's job, or maybe you're the owner trying to squeeze it in between everything else that needs your attention. That's why I like the idea behind the 3-3-3 rule. Now, there is a bunch of versions of this floating around, so this isn't something universally established rule for marketing. But here's the version we're using today, and it's pretty straightforward. Choose 3 audiences you want to reach the most. Decide on 3 messages you want those people to remember. Then concentrate on 3 marketing channels where you're most likely to reach them. It's constraint. That's the point of it all. And sometimes a constraint is exactly what a business needs. I'm your host, Michael Shiverdecker. Welcome to another episode of the Dealer Download, powered by RS&I. Let's start with audience, because I think this is where a lot of marketing goes wrong. Say you're selling fiber, internet. Who needs internet? Pretty much everybody. So it's easy to land on everybody as my customer. But hey, maybe everybody could be your customer, but that doesn't mean you should market to all of them the same way. Picture 3 potential fiber customers. Someone who works from home, a family with several people streaming, gaming, and juggling connected devices, and a small business owner who depends on connectivity to keep the doors open. They're all buying essentially the same underlying service, but they're not buying it for the same reason. The remote worker is thinking about video calls and reliability. The family is wondering if everyone can be online at once without things getting laggy. The business owner is thinking about keeping employees productive and systems connected. Same fiber, different priorities. That's why defining your audience matters so much. Your product doesn't change, but the reason somebody cares about it does. And once you understand that reason, your marketing gets a lot easier to write. Now, let's get to the second piece, your messages. Here's an exercise I think everybody should try. Imagine somebody sees your marketing over the next 6 months. Maybe they catch a Facebook ad, then check out your website. A month later, another ad crosses their feed. Eventually, they run into somebody from your company at a community event. If, after all of that, they only remember a couple of things about your business, what do you want those things to be? That's your message. And this is where businesses tend to trip themselves up. We get tired of our own marketing, long before customers do. We've seen the slogan 100 times. We've seen the ad. We've argued about the benefit in 3 different meetings. So somebody says, we need something new. Maybe, but your customer hasn't been sitting in your marketing meetings for the last 3 months. They've probably only seen your message twice, tops. Consistency matters because you're building an association so that when somebody finally needs what you sell, your business is the one connected to that need in their head. For a local telecom dealer, that message might be about local support. It might be about having multiple connectivity options. It might be helping customers figure out what's actually available at their address. I'm not telling you those should be your 3 messages. I'm telling you that you should know what your 3 actually are, because if you can't say what you want your customers to remember about your business, it's pretty unlikely they're going to figure it out on their own. This might be the most useful part of your 333, choosing your channels. I've seen organizations on multiple occasions trying to maintain a presence everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, email, running Google ads, maybe even trying to keep up a blog. And after a while, half of those channels haven't been touched in 3 months. The problem usually isn't that any of these channels are bad. It's resources. Every channel needs something: time, creative work, ad dollars, video, writing, management attention. Spread that across too many places and each one only gets a fraction of what it actually needs to work. So the 333 rule asks a much better question. Where are the people you're trying to reach actually paying attention? For one dealer, that might be Facebook. For another, it's mostly Google search. A business-focused dealer might find their traction somewhere else entirely. And don't sleep on offline channels either. The community events, direct sales, referral relationships, they all count. The goal isn't to pick the 3 platforms everyone else is on. It's to figure out where your customers actually are and put enough effort there to actually matter. Now, something important needs to be said here. 3 isn't sacred. If your business is getting outstanding results from 2 channels, don't go add a 3rd just because a framework told you to. And if you're a bigger company with the resources to manage more than 3 audiences, well, that's fine too. The real value of this whole framework, is the constraint. It forces a decision, and that's a lot harder than it sounds. Saying yes to another marketing opportunity always feels productive. There's always another platform to join, another audience to target, another message you could be promoting. In my writing for broadcast class in college, the one exercise that people struggled with was writing a 30-second commercial. The point wasn't to make a commercial. The goal was to learn how to fine-tune your message, to cut the fluff. The end result was commercial scripts that came out to 40, 45 seconds, a full minute worth of writing even. The hardest part is deciding this matters more than that. The same thing translates to your budget, because every dollar you spend in one place is a dollar you can't spend somewhere else. Every hour your team spends on content for one channel is an hour they're not spending on another. So cut the fluff. Focus isn't about doing less just to do less. It's about giving the things that actually matter enough resources to work. Let's walk through what this looks like for an authorized dealer. Say you're selling fiber. You've identified remote workers as one of your key audiences. You know reliable connectivity for working from home is a message you want to reinforce. And you've learned Facebook is where you can reach that audience in your market. Now, those 3 decisions start working together. You're not sitting down Monday morning wondering, what do we post this week? You already know who you're talking to, what you're trying to say, and where you're going to say it. That's the direction. Then you repeat the process for another audience, say small businesses. The message shifts because their needs are different, and maybe the channel shifts too. That's the beauty of this framework. It gives you real boundaries without forcing every customer into the exact same ad. One more thing. I don't want you walking away thinking you don't pick your 3 and then lock them in for the next 10 years. Marketing still needs experimentation. Markets, customers, platforms, they change. Your business changes. What the framework really gives you is a baseline. You know which audiences you're prioritizing, which messages you're testing, and where your resources are going. So measure it. Which audience is actually generating opportunities? Which message is getting a response? Which channel is producing real customers instead of just likes and impressions? Give your strategy enough time to tell you something real, then adjust. And don't confuse activity with results. Maybe a channel isn't pulling its weight. Maybe you find an audience you hadn't even considered. Maybe customers respond to a totally different benefit than the one you thought mattered. That's useful information, and it keeps you focused. It's what lets you actually see it because you're not changing 10 things at once. For today's action plan, grab a piece of paper or open a blank document and fill in 9 spaces. Start with your customers. Write down the 3 types of customers you want more of. Then your messages. If those customers only remembered 3 things about your business, what should they be? Finally, your channels. Where are you the most likely to reach those people consistently? Now look at what you're currently doing. You're advertising, social media, events, email, content, everything eating up marketing time or money. And ask whether it actually supports the decisions you just made. You might find you're pouring a surprising amount of time into something that doesn't reach an important audience that you want, or reinforce an important message, or produce real results. You might also find that something already working deserves a lot more attention than what it's getting. The goal here isn't to hand your team 9 more things to do, it's to figure out which things deserve to be well done. Marketing has never given businesses more options than it does right now, and AI is probably going to add even more tools, more platforms, more ways to create content, more ways to reach people. That's exciting. But more options don't automatically add up to better marketing. Sometimes they just add up to distraction. The 3-3-3 rule is useful because it forces you to actually decide who matters most, what do we want them to remember, and where can we reach them? Maybe your answer is 3, maybe it's 2, maybe your business has the resources to do more. The number really isn't the lesson here, the focus is, because you don't have to market everywhere. You just have to matter somewhere. I'm Michael Shiverdecker, and this has been the Dealer Download powered by RS&I. If today's episode got you thinking about your own marketing strategy, share it with another dealer or business owner trying to figure out where to focus. Also, please subscribe to the Dealer Download for more conversations about sales, marketing, technology, and growing your business. It would mean the world to us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
The Dealer Download powered by RS&I.